Hey guys, Amy here. So you've reached the point in the program where we talk about the different types of communication men respond to. But while it's one thing to know the different types, it's another thing to know how to prevent the negative ones. Here are some tips. Since you know what kind of communication guys do respond to, which are positive, brief, and purposeful, avoid the kinds that they don't respond to, like nagging, shame, force, criticism, and overly emotional talk. True, it can be hard to always talk pleasantly, but as the old saying goes, practice does make perfect, so work on how you communicate with him. To give you an example, let's talk about nagging. Men despise nagging. It makes them boil up inside and frustrates them to no end. In fact, it's not even just men. Most of us hate nagging. How many times did you want to explode when your mom would nag about cleaning your room or doing the dishes? It just isn't a good way to communicate to anyone. Next is I statements. If there's one thing you should know about men, it's that they don't like being blamed for things. Instead of pointing fingers, use I statements. For example, instead of saying, "You never help out," try, "I feel overwhelmed and would appreciate if you could help me." Not only will he hear what you're actually saying, but he'll see where you're coming from too. In most cases, it's probably the simplest solution to getting through to him. Then we have picking your battles. Not every issue that arises needs to be turned into an argument. Instead of getting mad at him for the little things, learn to let some things slide. So he didn't clean up properly, or he's late picking you up. So what? It's not the end of the world, so don't act like it is. When your man sees that you're a positive, happy person, he'll actually try harder to keep you in such high spirits. If you're constantly complaining or criticizing him, he's going to tune you out and keep doing the same things. You'll eventually feel like you're beating a dead horse. Another awesome way to avoid negative communication is by being prepared. A big part of communicating well is knowing what you're going to say ahead of time, or at very least knowing how to address issues if they do come up. For example, if he leaves the dishes on the table, know how to talk to him about it. Don't yell or start slamming things around. Instead, have a plan in mind and some choice words. It'll save you from anything that you might later regret. And my last tip for you is a 3-sentence rule. Since men respond best to brief statements and explanations, try using the 3-sentence rule to get your point across. This means leaving out any unnecessary details. When your message is short and sweet, it'll keep his attention for the whole talk, not just the first few minutes. Sure, there'll be times that require more than 3 sentences, but when possible, keep it short. Just remember that no amount of nagging, shame, or other type of negative communication is going to change a man's behavior, and too much of it, he'll tune you out. If you speak pleasantly to him and coax him along with a positive attitude, he will be way more willing to listen. Well, that's all for this video, so keep reading ahead, and I'll talk to you soon.